little stuffed bears or little
at his funeral, and we all put them in envelopes and sealed the envelopes and like wrote letters. We all wrote letters to him and put it in his coffin.
Oh.
And the stuffed animal in the coffin with him.
Again for another episode, and we have Michelle from Arizona. Michelle, welcome.
Hi.
I want to talk about Archangel Raphael. Raphael is associated with the color green and works with healers of all modalities. So typically when Raphael steps in the relationship that I'm seeing him step in for you, typically this is indicative of somebody that is currently doing some type of healing work or healthcare work. Do you work in the healthcare industry or are you a healer?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
So I work in pharmacy.
Oh, it's just more validation you are where you should be. At least we talk about Archangel Michael, and Michael we know is all about healing, bringing in the color blue, very strong, very, if I could use the word, thick energy with him. And the reason that I say that is because the level of protection that he brings around you is very fortified. And this is very indicative of some very traumatic or very chaotic things trying to, in a sense, probably happen around you. And where you just need some of that extra protection, right? So whether you're praying or asking for protection, this is validation to you that Michael, in a sense, has your back. So it was just seeing a thicker bubble, if you will, giving you kind of a visualization. But I also have a male as well, Michelle, that is stepping forward for you. And one of the first things that I'm smelling around him is smoke. So I'm understanding that he was a smoker many years ago. And one of the things that I also see is that he's showing me a flag, so American flag, waving in the background. So I'm understanding that he has a veteran connection, if you understand that. One of the things that I kind of feel like he was a no-nonsense type of guy as far as his personalities, that salt of the earth type. And I feel his pants kind of pulled up a bit. It's like very regimented with him. I don't know why that I feel, but it's like always up at the same hour of the day, always, getting ready, even if he didn't have anything to get ready for, like putting on his boots and everything else. So kind of very much regimented even into the latter stages of his life, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
And who is that to you?
It sounds a lot like my grandpa on my dad's side.
Okay. So
very, yeah.
Okay. So your grandpa. Well, first and foremost, and I think you know this, Michelle, is that, really he's coming forward with a tremendous amount of love. And support, but knowing that he talks about really where things have completely shifted upside down, and this is what he's showing me. It's almost like a water glass being turned upside down, and it's very chaotic. And this is just validation that what he's talking about in the period of time that you're in currently. And he's just saying that you just need to know that we're all around you, supporting you, and just know that even though everything looks completely turned upside down, and sometimes life can throw that to us, but just knowing that you're being supported on the other side. Are you in this great period of what he's showing as far as the water glass is concerned, like a big period of changeover? Or
I've been debating on switching job positions. Okay. And I've it's been a big conversation and like praying which way I should go. So that's the only thing that I can think of. Other than that, not too much chaos, but that's been like a big conversation lately.
Well, and it can cause a lot of uncertainty in our life, right? And so when we think about that is, when we're praying to get clarification or clarity around, should I take a different job position, or what should I do? I'm really kind of in a middle ground or crossroads per se. It's Spirit's way of saying that, you're kind of in this period of change, the water glass, right? And so when you think of that as letting you know, not only are they supporting you on your journey, number one, but number two is if you're taking time to get quiet enough, which they're sharing, because they're like, Dean, I keep on hearing, Dean, it's not as easy as what it sounds, because I was going to mention is just taking time to get quiet. And it's like there's a lot of noise is what I'm hearing around you. And that's why I heard from Spirit is like, it's not as easy as it sounds for her. So, and I understand that there's a lot of diversity in everybody's life. The other thing that I keep on hearing is that very much on around you, but having a very tough time like breathing. And I feel it more in my throat and my chest. And it's interesting to me because I'm like, what is going on here? Does that make sense to you? This is residual energy that you're carrying, so I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, there's someone very specific I was hoping to hear from that hit right on it. So
okay. So it was interesting because that was one of the things, like I could feel it in the throat and in the chest. And one of the things is very like, I was like, what's going on here? Like that's difficulty breathing. Like I almost want to say like a respiratory, but then I was also kind of almost wanting to go to like COVID like stuff. And I was like, what's going on there? And so I was like, it almost feels to me, Michelle, like it was missed either. It feels like I had a lot of diagnosis because it wasn't clear cut. And it's almost like misdiagnosed. Like, it's not that. We thought it was this. And we thought it was that. And it's like, well, what the hell is it? And it's like, so we can treat it but it doesn't feel like it had really any clear cut boundaries or what I want to say. So it's almost like, and the other thing that I want to share, it feels like almost like my body becomes, how do I want to say? It's almost like the body becomes a bit septus and it's like it's fighting itself. So, so I understand that sometimes the body can become toxic or infection can set in, and just spread rather very quickly. But the thing that I would also share is the breathing is a huge, huge problem because I can feel it more as it goes into the lungs. And it's almost like whether there was complications in pneumonia or what was going on, but I can feel it almost like into the lobes, if you will, of the, deep, and it's kind of a burning sensation. So it's a bit harder. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Things that I think that with him is that knowing that, and it doesn't feel like it's for you, Michelle, but it feels like it's more for your family, is where people are really struggling, obviously, understandably, with his passing, because it left such a large rift. However, it's almost like just wanting to know that he's okay. It's almost like trying to bridge their belief, and they can't quite go to like, no, I really, I don't know if I feel comfortable asking for signs or knowing that he's around. There's feels like a gap there in a sense. And it's almost wanting reassurance that he's in a good place, if that makes sense, that he's okay. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, well, I made it. Like, I'm here. Kind of the aspect of trying to make a joke out of it, right? Like, so always a joke like, where the hell else do you think I would be?
Oh my
God. So, right? So kind of, I know some people are probably taking bets that I would end up somewhere else a lot warmer and not Florida, right? So, kind of in a joke aspect, but in reality, he really wants to share not only to you, but everybody else within the family that he is in a good place as we think of heaven, and he's with everybody else in spirit. The other thing is that the last thing, and I was just like, well, what else do you have to share? And he's like, hey, before you go, I want you to let Michelle and everybody else know that he goes, thank you. And he goes, and I just see a large gathering. It's almost like what I almost would say is like a memorial, and in a sense of like almost like a graveside memorial. How long has it been since he's passed?
2 years, a little over 2 years.
Okay, so it's kind of interesting. Is that now? Do you guys annually go to the graveside and do a gathering?
Yeah.
And it's almost like a celebration or a memorial in a sense, but it's more of a celebration of his life. He's like, and quite honestly, in his own words, he goes, none of that sad shit. I don't want any of the, and he's like, none of the sad shit. He's like, Dean, I know this is going to air. And he goes, I don't care where you post it, but he goes, don't censor me. He goes, that's stupid. He goes, so that's what he was like. I don't want any of that sad shit. He said, I want everybody to be happy. And he said, hell, I want everybody to have some damn good food and crack a beer. He said, and just live life, right? So and I don't know why, but it's like I see a lot of things being left for him, obviously. But the thing that is very specific, like I see a couple sealed letters. It's almost like I almost feel like it's a niece or a nephew in that aspect of writing him letters. And then, but I also see like little stuffed bears or little animals. Does that make sense? Okay.
We all wrote letters to him and put it in his coffin.
Oh.
And the stuffed animal in the coffin with him at his funeral. And we all put them in envelopes and sealed the envelopes and like wrote letters.
That's a beautiful thing. It's kind of interesting because, even though, he's always got to make a joke out of everything, but he was like, he's like, damn, I didn't know I meant that much to that many people. And it's like, oh, come on. Showing me is like going through all of these letters. Like, and when he says that, it's like, holy shit, like there's a lot of letters. But really touching him, and not that he would ever really let you know that, or people that didn't know him know that, but he really was kind of what I want to say is like a big softie.
Yeah.
So, the people that were closest to him knew that, but other people, more the jokester, always rolling with the joke. But it's like, God, can't you be serious for once? It's like, no, I can't. Kiss my ass, Dean. He was like, oh
my God, yes.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Yeah, so his name was Dana. So my dad got remarried when I was 5, and she had 2 kids. Their dad wasn't involved, so my dad adopted them. So they're my half siblings. But he was 44, and he had one son, Peyton, and he was with his girlfriend for like 12 years. So they were like pretty much together. She had 2 girls that he helped raise as well. But yeah, he was 44. And I'm thinking, like, when you talked about the football, I think they were playing like football on a game or something. I'm thinking it was either football or hockey. But anyway, he just passed away in his sleep totally unexpectedly. And it came back as like half apnea, half cardiac arrest, he was on medication for like an infection in his lungs and fluid and stuff like that. So, but yeah, he was a very big smart ass, and everything the way you explained him is like him to a T. So that was really awesome.
Well, I hope I was some help today, and I really, truly appreciate you coming on and representing Arizona, Michelle, and giving me the honor of connecting not only to your grandpa, but your brother. And
that was amazing. I loved it so much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.